No contact during their rebound. Shocking truth revealed. So your ex is already in a new relationship. They're smiling in every post, acting like the breakup never happened. And everyone's telling you to just disappear, to go silent, to do nothing. It feels backwards, right? You're wondering, if I don't say anything, won't they forget me? If they're happy with someone else, what's the point of no contact? Here's the truth. No contact during a rebound might be the most powerful decision you make, not just to get their attention but to get yourself back. Because while they're chasing distraction, you'll be doing something way more powerful behind the scenes. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly what happens when you go silent, what your ex is really thinking, how their rebound unfolds, and how no contact works even when it feels like you're being forgotten. Let's clear the air. When you hear the word rebound, what comes to mind? A desperate fling? A rebound girl or a guy who's just a placeholder? We hear it all the time. It won't last, it's just a rebound. But the truth? Rebound relationships are more complicated than people think. So what is a rebound really? Psychologists define it as a new romantic relationship that begins soon after a breakup, usually before someone's had time to fully heal. It's not about the length, it's about the motivation. Are they genuinely ready for something new? Or are they trying to numb pain, avoid grief, or replace emotional comfort fast? Here's what most people get wrong. Not all rebounds are shallow. Some start messy, but evolve into something real. In fact, research shows that many rebounders report higher confidence and quicker emotional recovery, especially if they felt rejected or abandoned. Why? Because getting attention from someone new can make them feel desirable again. It's like emotional CPR. But that doesn't mean the relationship is built on something solid. Here's the difference. A real relationship starts from wholeness. A rebound often starts from woundedness. Big difference. Now let's talk about why your ex might jump into a rebound. Maybe they have an anxious attachment style. They can't handle being alone. Or they're avoidant, someone who distracts themselves with novelty instead of feeling pain. Or maybe they're in grass is greener mode, thinking there's someone out there who will be a better match, until reality kicks in. Here's the harsh truth. Most rebounds don't last. Statistically, many flame out in 3 to 6 months. Why? Because they're often built on comparison, emotional escape, or validation, not true compatibility. But even if it lasts longer, that doesn't automatically mean your ex is fully over you. Sometimes people stay in a rebound because it's comfortable, not because it's right. So no, you're not crazy for thinking something feels off. Rebounds are real, but they're not always as solid. Okay, so you know your ex is in a rebound, but let's be honest. Going no contact still feels impossible. You're scared they'll forget you. You're tempted to check in. Maybe send a just wondering how you're doing text. And deep down there's this little voice saying, if I don't say anything, won't they think I've moved on too? But here's the truth, that urge to reach out? It's not love talking, it's withdrawal. Breakups trigger the same brain pathways as addiction. Your ex became a habit, and cutting them off feels like detox. That's why no contact feels so brutal at first. You're not just losing the person, you're breaking an emotional pattern. But this pain, it has purpose. No contact gives your mind space to breathe, to stop obsessing over them and start stabilizing your emotions. And here's what's wild. While you're doing the hard work of healing, your silence is echoing in their mind. When you don't text, don't check their stories, don't show signs of jealousy, it interrupts their script. They expect a reaction, they expect you to chase, but instead you vanish. And that mystery, it's powerful. No contact isn't passive, it's active self-respect. It says, I'm not here to compete with your rebound, I'm busy rebuilding myself. And that shift, from reactive to grounded, is exactly what turns the tables in your favor, even if you don't see it yet. Let's talk about what's really going on inside your ex's rebound relationship. Not what it looks like from the outside, but what's actually happening beneath the surface. Because from your perspective, it might seem like they're suddenly thriving. They're out with someone new, posting selfies, tagging places you used to go together, laughing like nothing ever happened. And that hurts. Deeply. But let me walk you through the internal phases most people go through when they jump into a rebound. Phase 1, the relief high. This usually hits right after the breakup, especially if they were the one who ended it. They feel freedom, validation, like they're finally moving forward. You're silent. No drama, no texts. They interpret that as confirmation. See, it was the right call. I'm not missing them that much. But what's really happening? They're distracting themselves. Their brain's in reward mode. New experiences, novelty, excitement. It's like a sugar rush after emotional starvation. And most people can ride that high for a few weeks, sometimes even a couple of months. Phase 2, the image game. During this stage, they start posting more often. Lots of smiles, stories of date nights, even over-the-top PDA on social media. It may look like happiness, but often, it's a performance. Some do it to show off, some do it to convince themselves, because when they don't hear from you, and you don't flinch, it creates a void. They expected you to beg, or text, or react. Instead, you disappeared, and now they're starting to wonder, why aren't they chasing me? Did they move on too? The silence becomes unsettling, and curiosity begins to brew. Phase 3, the comparison phase. This is where it gets interesting, and painful for them. The rebound starts to feel normal. The shine wears off. Maybe the new person doesn't laugh at their jokes the same way. Maybe they have a small argument, and suddenly a memory of you rushes in. The rebound relationship hits its first real bump, and without that emotional history, it feels fragile. This is the moment they start comparing, not consciously at first. But their brain starts remembering comfort, familiarity, you. They remember how you supported them, how you handled stress, how your inside jokes felt easy, and the new person, they're starting from zero. This emotional gap becomes harder to ignore, especially when they don't have your attention anymore. Phase 4, the void. If the rebound starts to fizzle, which many do within 3 to 6 months, they're left with what they avoided all along, their own feelings. And now there's no distraction, no comfort, no validation from you. That's when they might finally feel the loss. The absence of your presence becomes real, and for the first time since the breakup, they begin to miss you, not the idea of you, but the real flawed human you. And if their rebound doesn't end, the comparison might still continue quietly. They may stay, but not fully commit. You might hear through mutual friends, yeah, they're still together, but he hasn't even introduced her to his family. Or, she talks about you more than she talks about him. All of this points to one thing. No contact amplifies your presence by removing it. Your silence. We've talked about your ex, but let's shift the spotlight to you. Because honestly, no contact isn't just a tactic to get their attention. It's a lifeline, a reset. And in many ways, it's the hardest and most transformational thing you'll do after a breakup. Phase 1. Withdrawal and obsession. The first few days, it feels unbearable. You check your phone constantly. You dream about them, wake up anxious. Even just not texting feels like climbing a mountain. That's because your brain is going through emotional withdrawal. Studies show that romantic love activates the same brain systems as drug addiction. Your ex was your dopamine hit. No contact, it's like quitting cold turkey. You may feel shaky, foggy, even physically sick. And worst of all, your brain starts tricking you. Just one message won't hurt. But every time you resist that urge, you're rewiring your brain, building emotional muscle. Phase 2, the fog. Around week 3 or 4, the chaos in your head starts to settle. You're not crying all day anymore, but you're not exactly okay either. You feel flat, numb, disconnected. This is normal. It's your brain recalibrating. The obsessive thoughts are fading, but your new patterns haven't fully taken hold yet. This is the in-between, a weird, quiet emptiness, where healing is happening quietly, under the surface. During this phase, routine saves you. Wake up, hydrate, move your body, talk to someone. You may not feel like doing any of it, but every healthy choice you make tells your brain, I'm safe now, I'm moving forward. Phase 3, clarity and self-rediscovery. Around the 6 to 8 week mark, things shift again. You laugh without forcing it. You catch yourself going hours, even a full day, without thinking about them. You stop romanticizing the past so much. You start remembering the red flags you once ignored. You look in the mirror and realize, I'm not the same person they left, I'm stronger. This is where you reclaim your identity. You try new things, take up hobbies, hit the gym, travel. Maybe you journal more, meditate, or maybe, for the first time in a while, you just sit with yourself and don't feel broken. And here's the best part. When no contact is done right, it makes you unrecognizable, in the best way. If they ever see you again, they won't see the person who begged or cried or texted at 2 a.m. They'll see someone grounded, whole, peaceful. And that version of you? That's the version who gets to choose, not chase. Because the real magic of no contact isn't whether your ex comes back, it's that you do. Let's be honest, no contact can feel like shouting into a void. Days go by, weeks, and nothing. So how do you know if it's working? The truth is, results from no contact show up in 2 places, and one of them matters way more than the other. Let's start with the signs from them. 1, they reach out casually, a random text. "Hey, I saw that movie you always talked about." That might seem innocent, but it usually means, "I'm wondering where you went and why you haven't chased me." 2, they engage with your social media again. Maybe they start watching your stories, maybe they like something they haven't interacted with in months. It's subtle, but it means they're checking in, silently. 3, they bring you up through mutual friends. Sometimes they don't message you directly, but you hear, "Yeah, she asked how you've been." That's curiosity. And curiosity usually comes from absence. 4, their new relationship feels performative. You notice it's all for show, overly affectionate captions, rapid milestone chasing. It's often not about genuine love. It's about trying to convince the world and themselves that they're fine. But here's the thing. Even if none of that happens, that doesn't mean no contact isn't working, because the more important signs, they're from you. 1, you stop checking your phone every 5 minutes. That reflex to scan their profile, it's fading. Not because you forced it, but because your brain is finally letting go. 2, your mood stabilizes. The emotional roller coaster starts to smooth out. You can focus on work, laugh with friends, enjoy quiet moments without the ache. 3, you start remembering things more clearly. Not just the good memories, but the arguments, the doubts. Your mind isn't idealizing them anymore, it's balancing out. 4, you feel proud of yourself. You didn't chase, you didn't settle, you held the line, and that pride, it's a sign your identity is rebuilding. Whether your ex comes back or not, these internal shifts are the real win. No contact doesn't guarantee reconciliation, nothing does. But it guarantees that you come back stronger, calmer, and way more in control of your own story. Now let's talk about what not to do during no contact, because sometimes even one slip-up can set you back weeks. And I get it. No contact is brutal. It's natural to feel desperate, panicked, and tempted, but these are the biggest mistakes that sabotage progress, and how to avoid them. 1, don't stalk their social media. It feels harmless. I'll just check their story real quick, but every time you peek, you're feeding the emotional addiction. You might see something that hurts. A new post, a cozy selfie, a subtle caption that wasn't meant for you but still cuts deep. And what do you get in return? Anxiety, obsession, that sinking feeling in your chest. So be real with yourself. If checking their profile sends you into a spiral, mute them. Block them if you have to. Protect your peace like your life depends on it. Because emotionally it kind of does. 2, don't break no contact because of panic. You hear they went on a trip, they posted a couple photos, you feel this rush of, "I have to remind them I still exist." That's fear talking, not strategy. And the truth is, texting them in that moment won't bring relief. It'll bring regret. They might ignore you or respond coldly, or worst of all, they know they've still got you. Hold the line, that panic will pass. The urge to reach out is a signal that you're nearing an emotional turning point. Don't interrupt it. 3, don't interfere in their rebound. Don't text their new partner. Don't post passive-aggressive quotes. Don't show up where they are by accident. It might feel satisfying in the moment, but it will backfire. All it does is confirm what they want to believe, that you're bitter, jealous, still obsessed. Don't give them that validation. Let them wonder why you're silent. That's the real power move. 4, don't use no contact as a manipulation tactic. Yes, part of you may secretly hope they'll miss you. That's okay. But if your only focus is, how do I make them come back? Then you're not really in no contact. You're still energetically chasing. No contact is about rebuilding yourself. It's about learning to feel stable again, even without their attention. The goal isn't to make them suffer. The goal is to make sure that you don't suffer longer than you have to. Every time you choose not to react, not to chase, not to break, you're reclaiming power. You're building self-respect. And that version of you, grounded, whole, calm, is way more attractive than anything a text could ever say. So, what if they come back? What if one day your phone lights up with their name again? Maybe it's a casual, "Hey, just saw something that reminded me of you." Or maybe it's a bold, "I miss you, I made a mistake." You freeze. Your heart races. Part of you wants to scream yes, but another part, it hesitates. Because now you're different. You've survived the storm. You've healed wounds they never saw. You've rebuilt your self-worth brick by brick, in silence. So the question isn't, will they come back? The real question is, what will you do if they do? Let's be honest. Sometimes exes come back for the wrong reasons, because the rebound ended and they feel empty. Because they're lonely, not because they've grown. Because they miss the version of you who loved them unconditionally, even when they didn't deserve it. And if they return while you're still vulnerable, that can be dangerous. So here's your filter. A quick checklist. 1. Have they taken responsibility for what went wrong, or are they just saying what they think you want to hear? 2. Do they show real change? Not just words, but actions? Anyone can say, I miss you. Few can say, here's what I did wrong and here's how I'm different now. 3. Do you feel safe with them emotionally? Not butterflies, not fantasy, safety. Because real love isn't chaos, it's calm. And if they don't come back at all, that's okay too, because you came back to yourself. You built a version of you that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't settle. You became someone who doesn't need closure, because you created your own peace. And if someone new enters your life, someone who sees your worth from day one, you'll be ready. Ready to love without losing yourself. Ready to receive the kind of relationship your old self was still chasing. So if your ex ever does come back, they'll have to meet the upgraded you. And this time, you get to decide if they're even worthy of a second chance. At the end of the day, going no contact while your ex is in a rebound isn't about being cold or playing mind games. It's about protecting your peace and choosing dignity over desperation. Because chasing someone who's already walking away never brings them closer, it just pulls you further from yourself. And I know it's hard. Some days silence will feel like punishment. Some nights the urge to text will feel overwhelming. But every time you hold the line, every time you choose you're getting stronger. And here's what's powerful. When you stop showing up where you're not being valued, you create space for someone who will value you. Maybe even your ex, if they grow up and come back. But maybe someone even better, and the best part, you'll be ready for either. So hold your head high, trust the silence, and remember, you don't get stronger by holding on. You get stronger by letting go, and seeing who still finds their way back. If this video gave you clarity, give it a thumbs up. And consider liking the video, subscribing and comment for more content that speaks to your healing, not your heartbreak.